Hey guys, so I did a Robocraft video and the file was corrupted, which sucks. Absolutely sucks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you this test that you should all take. I think you should all take it. It's a great test. I don't think it's like the be all end all of everything ever, but it's pretty damn good. The questions are in depth and they ask you a lot of questions. 70 to be exact, I believe. And it's just very accurate. You know what I mean? And some people don't like the results. I think it's because they don't identify with the label that it gave them. But I think they'd be surprised how much they are the label that this gives them. Like if they stop and think about it for a second. Oh wait, actually, maybe it is right. So I'll show you the axes. So equality and markets are the opposing ones here. Those with higher equality scores believe the economy should be distributive value among evenly among the populace. They tend to support progressive tax codes, social programs, and at high values socialism. Okay, now markets economic. Those with higher market scores believe the market should be focused on rapid growth. They tend to support lower taxes, privatization, deregulation, and at high values laissez-faire capitalism. So that's the first axis. The second axis is nation versus globe. Those with the higher nation scores are patriotic and nationalist. They often believe in aggressive foreign policy, valuing military strength, sovereignty, and at high values territorial expansion. Versus globe. Those with higher globe scores are cosmopolitan and globalist. They often believe in peaceful foreign policy, emphasizing diplomacy, cooperation, integration, and at high values a world government. So like a whole one world government thing like you see in a lot of sci-fi movies or sci-fi video games. So this next one is liberty versus authority. Those with the higher liberty scores believe in strong civil liberties. They tend to support democracy and oppose state intervention in personal lives. Note that this refers to civil liberties, not economic liberties. Right, because that would be capitalism. Alright, not liberty. Liberty is other kinds of liberties. Authority. Those with higher authority scores believe in strong state power. They tend to support state intervention in personal lives, government surveillance, and high values censorship or autocracy. Then you have this. Tradition versus progress. Those with higher tradition scores believe in traditional values and strict adherence to a moral code. Though not always, they are usually religious and support the status quo or the status quo aunt. Okay. Then you've got those with higher progress scores believe in social change and rationality. Though not always, they are usually secular or atheist and support environmental action and scientific or technological research. Okay, so closest match. It'll give you a closest match. So it'll give you a closest match, which is like an ideology that it thinks you are based upon how you answered the questions. So I'm gonna go right into it here, and we'll be presented with a series of statements, and you click which of the answers is your opinion to the statement given. So they'll give you a statement, and then yeah, you'll see. So the first question it asks you here, you have these five choices: strongly agree, neutral and sure, disagree, or strongly disagree. So based on how you feel about the state, or how you feel, or what you think, depending on what you're guided by, feelings, thought, or practicality. So whatever your feelings tell you, or whatever your logic tells you, or whatever your intuition tells you. All right. Anyway, oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. I don't think so. I think governments are more of a concern because although like a lot of the government is bought out by corporations, at the end of the day, Like, the government still has all the power to, like, NSA and spying and all other kinds of stuff that corporations, I mean, they can do, but they get in trouble for it, whereas the government has, like, immunity because, well, it's the law. It protects itself. So if corporations are corporations, more of a concern, strongly disagree. It is necessary for the government to intervene in the economy and protect consumers. Now this one causes some controversy because there's people on both sides of the aisle. I say no because I feel like if that they shouldn't need to do that. If it happens, if like a scam type thing happens once, people are gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna buy from that person. I'm not gonna, you know, I boycott that. So I've basically my entire life been boycotting like Walmart because Walmart nickels and dimes their suppliers, and I don't agree with that. So I'm just not gonna shop at Walmart because they nickel and dime their suppliers and they underpay their employees. So I'm just not gonna shop there. Right? I'm not going to shop at Walmart, although I'm a hypocrite because I went to Walmart like 2 weeks ago and bought a shirt. Right? But that was a whole different issue that I haven't been there in like, that was the first time I've been to a Walmart in 8, 9, 10 years. So, no, strongly disagree. The freer the markets, the freer the people. So I think, in my personal opinion, that this is true 100% of the time, not 99% of the time, not 99.99% of the time, 100% of the time. So I'm going to strongly agree. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. Yeah, because without one, you don't have the other. So without a balanced budget, you don't have welfare for all citizens. Because welfare for all citizens costs money. It's not free. You have to. It costs a lot of money. So wait, back. Did I answer that right? It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for. Did I? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Publicly funded research is more beneficial than leaving to the market. No, I think the market does it better because the market, although it's biased, is less biased than publicly funded research is. Publicly funded research can be influenced by somebody's political agenda, which the other one can be too, but in the other instance, people will know about that. It's pretty obvious. So they'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. But the government will do that, and then they'll enact laws based on that. So that's, I think, more dangerous than a company that you can just say, oh, you're full of shit. I'm not going to shop at your company because you're bull. Your study, your research, your thing that you found was bull. Whereas the government does that. No, they make it law, and then you have to obey it, whether it's true or not, because the government does what it wants, basically. So, public money research is more beneficial than the market? No, strongly disagree. International trade is beneficial. Yeah, strongly agree. I don't know why somebody would say no. I guess an isolationist would say no. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. No. This works on a family level, like how families are run. It can work, but on a whole national level, no, it doesn't work. So, strongly disagree. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. Yeah, they're just better. Social programs are often underfunded. They're often not as good as private charities. And like oftentimes, it's a bunch of red tape and a bunch of hoops to get through government-run stuff, and it's just more bureaucracy. So, yeah, private charity, strongly agree. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. No. Look at the Soviet Union. Taxes were increased on the rich to provide, in air quotes, for the poor, but what really happened is all the money went to Stalin. So, or Mao, or Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, Kim Il-sung, Ceausescu, Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge. Pick your dictators here. Alright, so strongly disagree. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Yes, and it should not be taxed at all. It's like a tax for dying. That's stupid. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. No, privatization would be better because then they'd be... Sure, they cost money, whereas public roads, they kind of don't. But at the same time, they'd be better quality, and they'd be more efficient, and they'd be repairing them more, and they'd be, it'd just be a nicer experience. So I would say strongly disagree. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy. Always, any government intervention is a threat to the economy, let alone excessive. Strongly agree. Those with a greater ability to pay should receive better health care. Well, yeah, I have more money. I have the rights. I have more money. I'm entitled to the rights that come along with having more money. So I didn't work my ass off, nose to the grindstone, to be met with, okay, now that you've done that, we're stealing all your money and you don't get better health care or better anything because, you're a worthless piece of crap. Like, no. No. You have value, right? So if you're a rich person and you have a lot of money, right, you have value. You matter, right? So strongly agree. Wait, yeah, strongly agree. Quality education is a right of all people. Again, it sounds like, like if you say no to this, it kind of sounds like you're pulling a dick move, like oh, you don't care about those people, but no, what it is it's like a service. So it's just like your phone, your TV, your internet, your whatever. If you can't pay for it, then you can't. Like it's you don't. It's not a right. Like some people say that it's a right. It's not a right. You know what I mean? It's just not a right. And I know that like it's just not. So nope. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. That's a very communistic statement right there. It's saying, okay, worker uprising, like freaking revolution time. Let's go, let's go. No revolution time. I think the people who paid all the money to invested all the things in like the space in the place should own it. So if I bought a building with my own money, it's my building, right? It doesn't matter who I hire, right? They work there for me. I pay them money, right? That's their exchange. That's what they get is I pay them money. And if they're a highly skilled worker, what? I'll do it. If they're a highly skilled worker, then they get paid in other stuff besides money, like stocks or like bonds or other different things. Like some of my family members were paid in stocks and bonds and other stuff as well alongside with that. So I pay you in something that has value that you can exchange for money or just the money, right? So that's your trade-off. You don't own the factory. You don't own the office building. You don't, own the courthouse. You don't own the law firm. Because I paid for it, own the law firm. Or if you paid for it and I'm working for you, I don't own the law firm. You own the law firm. So, strongly disagree. United Nations should be abolished. Ooh. This is one where I know my answer, but there's a heated debate about this. Like, there are people who get up in arms about this one. I've heard some people go ham for this. Like, there are people in some comment sections that are like, no, the United Nations is amazing. Like, kiss the ground, kiss its feet. It does all the wonderful things it has done. Yeah, has. I don't care what it has done in the past. That's great. It's still helpful today. Wonderful. But I think it's time to move on. Because all it is a giant international bureaucracy that is, again, anti-Israel. And look, I don't really care for Israel. I'm not one way or the other about it. But I'd like the UN to be objective when it comes to Israel, not, like, biased. I want the UN to be, like, 50-50, which I am. For Israel versus Palestine, I'm 50-50. I don't really care. I'm not a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim, so I don't have an investment in that part of the world. It's not a holy place for me. I don't care, right? Like, now if you're talking about England, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Germany, those sorts of places, those are holy places for me. That's like my Israel or my Palestine, right? because those are the lands of my ancestors, and ancestry is very important in my faith. So, but I'm not invested in Israel or Palestine at all. So I don't really care about that part of the world. As far as I'm concerned, they can just kill each other and have the U.S. just please stay out of it. As far as I'm concerned, we should just not even be in there in the first place. I'm tired of all the wars. So yeah, it should be abolished. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. Not really. No. Strongly disagree. I support regional unions such as the European Union. No. I am anti all regional unions. So no. Strongly disagree because it's a multi-country or multinational um, bureaucracy that dictates for that one country ends up dictating for another country's stuff, and it just gets out of hand. Like look at Poland and Czech Republic or whatever it is. I think it is, and like Hungary and those sort of eastern countries that used to be under communism or were influenced by it. They have no time to mess with the EU at all. And Germany, by having the right wing party come third, was like almost like an FU to the EU. And Italy now with their right wing parties are saying FU to the EU. England said FU to the EU when they did Brexit, which I thought was brilliant. Way to go, sticking to the EU. The EU is really out of control. Brussels, you're out of control. Luxembourg, you're out of control. Okay, Belgium and Luxembourg, you guys need to get a handle on this and wrangle the EU and make sure that they don't run everything. Because what it is basically it's Brussels passing all the laws, and then Luxembourg enforcing all those laws. Because Luxembourg is the seat of the court, and Brussels, Belgium is the seat of the legislature. So it's basically just Belgium and Luxembourg, like screwing it over for the rest of Europe. So yeah, sorry. Here the European Union, I strongly disagree. It's important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yeah, duh. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not. I think we need to have a nation. I think we need to have some government here. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind. Fuck no. Absolutely not. It is more important to maintain peaceful relations than to further our strength. Yeah, I think so. I think we need to get the hell out of all these wars. Just get the hell out of them. Strongly agree. Wars should not need to be justified to other countries. Nah, I strongly disagree. If you're going to go to war with somebody, you need to have a good enough reason. Don't just declare war on them because you feel like it. Like one day I wake up and like, I kind of feel like going to war with another country right now. I don't know. I'll send a few troops in here, and I don't know. Maybe I'll send a few tanks and maybe some aircraft, and I don't know, just blow up some things. And, I don't know. Like, Mr. President, is there any reason why? Nah, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it. Like, it doesn't fly. Like, no. You'd have a reason why you're going to war. So, strongly disagree. Military spending is a waste of money. No. I think you need military spending I think military should be not used as... You shouldn't use the military as a flat in another country. What you should do is use the military as a bargaining chip. Like, we have the biggest military in the world, so don't try anything stupid. Just trade with us peacefully, and you can avoid war. Because look, even though we have the biggest military in the world, 3/4 of our citizens or more don't want war, right? But at least half of them can probably agree that we should use the military as a bargaining chip to be like, hey, don't try anything stupid. Like, just trade with us, please. Like, that's all we want. Like, we don't want to flatten your country. We really do not want to have to flatten your country. I mean, we really don't. That's like the last option, but it's on the table. So I think you should use the military as a bargaining chip rather than actually use the military. But in order to do that, you have to have a strong enough military that is feared by people or respected. Feared by your enemies, respected by your allies. That's what you want to do. Okay, but you want to have as many allies as humanly possible. I mean, all the allies. Ally it up, man. I'm all in favor of that. So military spending is a waste of money. Strongly disagree. International aid is a waste of money. Yes. And it's because the international aid never goes where you intend it to go. So let's say I want to give international aid to starving kids in Africa. I want to give them kits where it's like 2 or 3 years worth of supply of rice, and then I give them like some non-perishable like canned goods, and then I want to give them like, I don't know, maybe I want to spend money to help them build a new water system that gets clean water, and maybe a schoolhouse and all this other nice stuff, and then I want to maybe like help them go to like local colleges and help them like learn a trade or something, get some kind of a job going. But if I want to give them all that money, that's awesome. I have all the intentions right. My heart is in the right place. But when it gets there, the government takes control of it. The police take control of it. It's allocated to different people. Then criminals get a hold of it and steal some of it. And it goes on and on and on. And then the government, what it does is basically the government steals all of it and then launders it and does all other kinds of stuff with it. And then, oh, by the way, some criminals got a hold of it and they did some terrible things. But oh yeah, guess what? All the money the criminals used to do some terrible things. Well, guess what? All these policemen that saw me commit these 500 murders with like a machine gun in like the middle of an African capital or something. Oh yeah, all those people that did that, like, okay, I'm gonna pay them all off. I'm gonna give them each like $1,000 to like to like basically like shut up about it. And then I'm gonna give them another $1,000 to make it so I don't have to go to jail. And then another $1,000 so I don't have to even await trial. And then all because some guy in the first place wanted to have his good heart and a good place and give money to starving kids in Africa. And it just got stolen, and the government got a handle of it, and everything else, and just So yeah, it's a waste of money because it doesn't go where you want it to go. Where you want it to go and where it actually goes, two different things. My nation is great. USA, USA, USA. Strongly agree. Research should be conducted on an international scale. Nope. Should be conducted on a nation-by-nation basis. However, I feel like the sharing of the information should be conducted on an international scale. So the findings from the research should be public and open for all nations. But the research itself should be done on a nation-by-nation basis. So strongly agree. Governments should be accountable to the international community. No. Governments are only accountable to their citizens, and that's it. Sorry. Strongly disagree. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. No, usually it is acceptable, especially if it's an authoritarian regime. Always violence, but not intervention. Violence, like from the people themselves, uprise. Not like USA going in there and starting a war. Like, that's wrong. So, strongly disagree. Wait, buppity-bup. Strongly disagree. No. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. No. Again, my religion is a folk-based religion. It is an ethnic religion. So it's not a universalizing religion, meaning my religion does not believe that it is solely the absolute correct religion for everybody on the planet. It is a correct religion for me. It is a correct religion for all of the religion's followers. But it is not the correct or right religion for people who are not followers of the religion unless they are part of the ethnicities that the religion believes that it is for. And even then, it's like up to you. It's a choice. We're not going to force you, like, oh, if you're of German descent, like, I'm going to force you to become an Ostrich. Like, that doesn't work like that. It's like, if you want to, you can. But, like, if you're not part of one of the ethnic groups, then I would encourage you to look at your own ancestry and explore what they have to offer, because there's a lot of awesome stuff out there, you know what I mean? So, my religious values should be spread as much as possible? No, strongly disagree. Our nation's values should be spread as much as possible? No, our nation's values don't work for everybody. We learned that in the Middle East with Iraq, we tried to instate like a constitutional republic like we have in the U.S., and it just didn't work. Iraq, it didn't take in Iraq. It instantly became ridden with guerrilla groups that wanted to instate Sharia law almost instantly. And even if we had stayed, we wouldn't have gotten rid of all the guerrilla groups. Like, really wouldn't have. So, strongly disagree. It doesn't, there's, like, I hate Sharia law, but it just, in the Middle East in particular, it just has to be. It has to exist there. You know, I mean, there's no other option other than Sharia law, except for, secular atheist dictatorships, like, what's his name, Erdogan in Turkey, or the guy in Egypt, or Saddam, like, they weren't Muslims, they were basically atheistic, right? And they didn't import Sharia law, but they ruled with an iron fist. So no, if these guerrilla groups dared challenge them and try and reinstate Sharia law, they'd be killed by Saddam's forces and murdered. So it's very important to maintain law and order. I mean, it is important, but very. That's the thing that gets me. Very important. It's important, but is it very important? I think it's just regular important, so I'm going to strongly disagree. The general populace makes poor decisions. Now, this one gets me really, really angry because of the people who say that the general populace makes poor decisions, and so they should be controlled like sheep. I just think that's wrong. I just think that's completely wrong. I think on a day-to-day basis, the general populace generally makes really good decisions that are pretty on point and pretty based. So I think the general populace as a whole makes great decisions. I think they're wonderful. I think the decisions the general populace makes are awesome. I don't think they should go away just because one or two people make a stupid decision and they become famous. Because look, the stupid idiots out there in the world are the ones that everybody notices. The geniuses are kind of behind the scenes. So you never notice that. So the good general populace that makes good decisions, you don't see those people. You only hear about the ones that make terrible decisions. So it's like a what do you call it? Like it's a bias. Okay, it's like it's a bias. So the general populace makes poor decisions. Strongly disagree. I think they make great decisions. Victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all. Strongly agree. I think the only victim there is yourself. And if other people get affected by it, it's because they're letting themselves get affected by it. So, yeah. Sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. No. Every time we sacrifice civil liberties for something that's supposedly going to help us protect us from terrorism, oh shocker, that thing that they said was going to protect us from terrorism didn't work. Shocker. So no, I'm not going to give any of my civil liberties for that. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. I don't think so. I think it's absolutely not. It's the furthest thing from necessary. You don't. But what if? How else are you going to capture terrorists? They're always going to be terrorists. You're going to just have to live with that, right? I mean, like there always will be terrorists. There always will be people that will want to do some harm. There just always will. You can never not have people that are terrorists. You just can't. There will always be. They will always exist. So, what's the point of trying to stop something that can't be stopped? Stop something that will always be, that always was, is, and always will be. So, strongly disagree. No. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Yes, but the state is a necessary evil. So, strongly agree, with the caveat that it is still a necessary evil and that we do need it. Regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your country. No, I think you have the right to your own political opinion. Whatever you believe is whatever you think is whatever you want to think. Regardless of what the majority in your country thinks, you can think whatever you want. So, strongly disagree. No authority should be left unquestioned. Strongly agree. Question all authority figures all the time, every time, constantly. A hierarchical state is best. I strongly disagree with that. In the U.S., we kind of have a hierarchy-ish, but to me, when they say hierarchy, I think of like a king or a dictator or kind of like a know-your-place kind of guy, like one guy at the top, Well, we don't have that. Although we have somebody at the top, it's three branches of government at the top: the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. And no branch is technically, it's supposed to be that no branch is more powerful than the other, and that they all have ways to check and balance each other's power. So there's no one true man at the top. You know what I mean? There's a man that gets elected, and we call him the president, and and it matters who that guy is. But at the end of the day, it also matters who the senators and House of Representatives got, who the congressmen and House of Representatives guys are, and it also matters who's on the Supreme Court. So, because those are all very important things. Hierarchical state is best, strongly disagree. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion even if it is wrong. Yeah, that's democracy. Democracy and republicanism, or constitutional republicanism, is basically like majority opinion rules. And that's fair. Majority opinion rules, that's totally fair. Although I think that other people should still have the right to their voices and still have the right to be heard. So, strongly agree. Wait, yeah. The stronger the leadership, the better. I think of stronger in this case. Some people would say stronger means more capable. But I think that stronger in this case means more authoritarian or more like heavy-handed rather than, capable. I think it's more heavy-handed, and in which case I'm going to strongly disagree. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Democracy is like a way of life. So I think it's more than a decision-making process. It's also a way of life. It's a way of living your life. You engage in democratic processes every day. So, strongly agree. I mean, if you live in the U.S., you do. Environmental regulations are essential. Ooh. No, they're not. Absolutely not. A better world will come from science, automation, and technology. No, I don't think so at all. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. Oh yeah, for sure. Strongly agree. Traditions are of no value on their own. No, I disagree with this. I think Western traditions are valuable, period. Regardless of what they are. They just are valuable. Just by the fact that they're a tradition that the West has, it's automatically valuable. So don't change it. So, strongly disagree. Religion should play a role in government. No. Separation of church and state. Excuse me. Churches should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. 501c3 tax-exempt religious organization, get fucked. Strongly disagree. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. One of. Not the, but one of. The would probably be like nuclear war, right? The would probably be nuclear war, and then from next step down would be like diseases, and then next step down would be like asteroids, and like gamma ray bursts, and like supernovae, and things like that. And then a step down from that might be climate change. So I'm going to lightly agree. Not strongly agree, but just agree. It is important that we work together as a united world to combat climate change. Nope. It should be solved on a nation-by-nation basis. Society was better many years ago than it is now. Morally, yes, but technology-wise, no. So, I'm going to strongly agree still, though. No, just slightly agree. It is important that we maintain the traditions of our past. Oh, strongly agree. It is important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. Actually, I used to think yes to this, but in our lifespan, we have what? 2 generations within our lifespan. We have my kids and then my grandkids. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty far out. That's like at least a few hundred. That's at least like 100 years. No, not 100. Yeah, that's at least 100 years between me, my kids, and my grandkids. That's at least 100 years. And that's a pretty long time. I don't think you need to be thinking any further ahead than that, because you honestly can't. It's a lot of the time not even possible. So I don't really think so, based off the fact that I think 3 generations is enough to care about. I don't think you need to care about the 4th generation or the 5th generation or the 6th generation. I think 3 generations, me, my kids, my grandkids, I think that's enough. So I strongly disagree. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. No, your culture is the framework with which you conduct reason. So, for instance, like, if I were to say, I hate the state is stupid, the state is dumb, I hate the state, right? But if I were to ask a Chinese person the same thing, they might say, no, I love the state. It's awesome. Worship the state, kiss the state's ground, state, 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 state. And by the way, all state leaders are divinely blessed. I'm like, okay, that's coming from a different cultural framework. Now, we both had our reasons of getting there, but our reasons aren't the same. We don't have the same reasoning, because our culture is different, right? Whereas if we didn't have culture at all, we wouldn't really have reason. You know what I mean? Like, it would exist in an odd form that kind of doesn't exist. So, reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Strongly disagree. Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. Yes, absolutely. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Sure, with the caveat that religious people should have their religious rights protected also. I'm going to agree with this. No cultures are superior to others. No, some just are, I'm sorry. The West just is. Sex outside of marriage is immoral. If you're talking about cheating, like if I cheat on somebody, yeah, strongly agree. Adultery is immoral. That's one of the things you can do to get into Niflheim, by the way, adultery. Also, oath breakers, and also habitual liars. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Strongly agree, yeah. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. I used to be against. I used to be for this. I used to be like, no, it's, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the practice. I really just don't. And to all of you say, well, it's my body, my choice. Like, what do you can't, you're a man. You don't have a right to say anything about it. You don't have a right to your opinion. Well, actually, number one, freedom of speech and freedom of thought. So, yeah, I have rights to those. And number two, it's not your body, your choice, right? Because it's not your body, right? It's somebody else's body inside yours, right? It's not your body, it's somebody else's, right? It's not your body, it's the kid's body, right? Like, it's little Jimmy's body, it's little Johnny's body, it's little Sally's body, it's little Maggie's body, It's not yours, it's theirs. Just because they're not fully formed or born yet doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they don't have rights, right? Like, I believe in the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. One of which of those 3 things is life. Okay. So, but I still am going to strongly disagree with it. I'm actually just going to disagree with this. Yeah, not strongly disagree, but disagree. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. No, I don't think you need a reason to own a gun. You can just own one, like so. I mean, like, there's always going to be violence. You take away guns, they're going to find something else. They're going to find something else. If you take away guns, then okay, fine. Let's use military-grade crossbows. Well, we'll take away those. Fine, well, let's use bow and arrows. Or guns that have been grandfathered in. Right? Well, I'll get rid of those. Fine, I'll just buy guns off the black market then. Off the dark web. Well, I'll crack down on that. Fine. Then I'll invent my own gun that shoots knives. I'll do a DIY gun that shoots knives. Well, I'll ban that. Fine. I'll buy grenades. Well, I'll ban that. Alright, fine. Then I'll just go on a murdering spree with axes. Or I'll do, knives of all kinds. Or I'll do freaking swords. I'll do katanas. Right? I'll do broadswords. I'll do say axes. I'll do, all those kinds of things. So it just doesn't matter. Gun ownership. So no, absolutely not. There'll always be some kind of weapon that somebody will use to kill somebody. It will happen. Deal with it. I support single-payer universal healthcare. No, I don't. Prostitution should be illegal. I used to think it should, but I'm on kind of the side now that no, because making it legal might make it, regulate it, and maybe might make it more safe for those involved. So strongly disagree. Wait, strongly disagree. Maintaining family values is essential. Yeah, who would say no to this? I mean, I guess radical revolutionaries who are so far to the scientific spectrum would say no to this. But I think maintaining family values is essential. Yeah, it is. Chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Yeah, absolutely. So strongly chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Strongly agree. Genetic modification is a force for good even on humans. It's not a force for good on anybody. Humans or rats or anything. I just think genetic modification should be stopped. I mean, this whole designer baby thing, like, fuck that. To hell with designer babies. I want my baby to turn out natural. I want my baby to turn out how it's going to turn out. Not, like, genetically modify stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've got learning disabilities. Right? And I'm actually thankful for those. I'm thankful that I have those. Because it's taught me a lot of life lessons that other people will never learn in their life. I wanted to, and I'm glad that I've learned some of those life lessons that are unique life lessons that other people can't learn and honestly will never learn because they just can't wrap their heads around. Some people just don't function the way they do. So, gentrification for good even humans? No, strong disagree. We should open our borders to immigration. They already kind of are. And I don't see anything wrong with that as long as they assimilate into our culture and as long as they know their place and know that we run the place and that in order for us to run the place, we need to be a majority. And then if they understand those basic things, then I don't see why we can't let them in. I don't see why we can't let immigrants in. I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm anti-immigrants that don't like our country and want to impose their own system of government, and as opposed to the one that we currently have, and then hate us. I'm opposed to that, but I'm not opposed to immigrants who work their ass off. So we should open our borders to immigration? Yeah, we should. Strongly agree. Governments should be as concerned about foreign citizens as they are about those within their own borders. No. You have your own country, you have your own matters, you have your own shit to worry about. Strongly disagree. All people, regardless of factors like sexuality, culture, or sexuality, should be treated equally. By who? By the eyes of the law? Or by just, like, regular, like, people? Because if it's the average Joe, no. The average Joe is right to treat you however he wants, right? But if it's the government, then you should be treated equally in the eyes of the government. So I'm going to say it's the government, and so I'm going to strongly agree with that. It's important that we further my group's goals above others. Well, I think my group has a pretty good understanding of the way in which the world works. My religious group and my political group, and I just think that we have a pretty good understanding of the way the world works, so I strongly agree. Now, what does this give me? Okay, so here are our results. Economic axis. Equality versus markets. 7.3% equality. 92.7% markets. So I got laissez-faire capitalists. I usually get that. Sometimes I'll just get regular capitalists. I'll get in the 80s or in the 70s. But, or I used to, but now I got laissez-faire capitalists. Diplomatic axis, patriotic. 61.7% in favor of nation, 38.3% in favor of world. So I got patriotic, I got patriot. Ooh, I got libertarian. Usually I get liberty or generally favoring liberty, but I got libertarian this time. Civil axis libertarian. 76.9% liberty and 23.1% authority. Right. Axis, societal axis, traditional versus progress. I got traditional, 73.3% tradition, and 26.7% progress. Closest match, objectivism. Yeah, that's accurate. That is the label I would use to describe myself. So that's accurate. And it was this very test that actually made me look into objectivism, because I answered this stuff and I got objectivism, and I had zero idea what that is. I didn't know what that was. I had no idea what objectivism was, but I got it on this quiz. So I looked it up, did research, looked up and listened to different various people, Ayn Rand, Yaron Brook or whatever his name is, and like a few other people that interviewed some objectivists, and so some of the interviews, like Yaron Brook was interviewed by Dave Rubin, and that's a good interview. You should watch that. Dave Rubin's interview with Yaron Brook is amazing, absolutely just amazing, absolutely amazing. So you should go check that out. This is extremely accurate. I have to say, this is extremely accurate, highly accurate. This is sort of the label that I would use to describe myself. Very nice. 100% accurate. Yeah. So, check this out for yourselves. Yeah, just check this out for yourselves. And just see what's up. Yeah, just check this out for yourselves. Bye-bye.